Bhagavan, Swami, dear brothers and sisters, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. Respected elders, beloved council members, brothers and sisters, indeed, this 2.5 days has been extremely, 2 days, 1.5 days, 1 day has been really a very inspiring day, especially when we saw the beautiful experiences, testimony of the transformation that has been executed as a result of this STP, which has been now launched in Malaysia. So this session is about, I was talking about Swami's teachings, the relevance factor. If you look at this picture, it's a really profound picture because it speaks about like different levels, different zones, different consciousness. When you come for MBBS exam, in MBBS exam, there is a scope. In engineering, there is a scope. In every subject, there is a scope in which you have to be exposed to the teachings, the practicals, the classes, and then slowly at the end of the day, you get conferred the degree, and then you leave with the degree, with a doctorate or engineering. Like that, the subject of consciousness, which you all supposed to uplift human consciousness. Suppose I ask you, what is the meaning of consciousness? You know, you will not be able to explain. We are lifting. Yeah, what are you lifting? Consciousness. What is it? We don't know, but we are lifting it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let us lift it. And you're not alone, because there is this thick book called Consciousness Demystified. Demystifying Consciousness, this thick book. There are about 1,021 publications on the subject of consciousness today in the field of science. The scientists, therefore, have never come close to consciousness. It was always kept to the philosophers and the spiritualists. But now scientists have declared that consciousness is a subject that we also must reckon with. Whilst they are trying, that whole book I read, the Demystifying Consciousness, and I came to conclude that none of them actually have an answer to what really it is, because it is a subject that has to be experienced. But the closest text that comes towards describing consciousness is only from the book, from the text of Adi Shankaras, in which it is not a text but was written by his disciples, in where the teacher finally now on the merging point, Adi Shankara finished his whole life, 32 years he traveled, and now he's on the merging. He's now merging, because we talked about merging. And this is how you must treat the subject as scientific as possible, looking at what people have said. Now Adi Shankara is merging, and as he's about to merge and get inside, suddenly one disciple there said, hey, what is it like to be merged? When you are merging, how is the feeling like? And there's no textbook today explaining these Upanishads that you have in the Vedas, and none of the spiritual declaration has actually talked to you or told us about what is that state of meditation, the highest stage of consciousness. Because if they put it in paper, then we will be conditioning our mind. Then you will be seeing meditation, we must see blue light. Then if you see orange, is it okay, brother? I see only orange. And so everything will become conditioned. So in this unconditional state, in which they write only pointers, in which they write conditions, in which they write situations, you are supposed to lift your own mind and merge, and that merger is where you are supposed to experience. And no text is available on this planet called Earth other than this Adi Shankara's Dashavakyas, in which he merged. This is the only text, believe me. All others have just been implications or suggestions, but no direct experience. So now he's merging, and as he's merging, somebody's asking, what is this merger like? What is the experience like? And the teacher is saying, he turned round. And because to turn round and to explain, you need the mind. When you are merging, mind is no more. See the point? The difference now. So you are now pseudo-merging now. This is about to merge little bit, a fraction of the mind. He turns around and tells the people, you know what the scriptures have declared, what the reality is? That is only a fraction of what the real reality is. You mean all this, what the scriptures are talking and telling and everything, is only a minute point? Actually, the real thing is huge, immense, incredible. That is not something that can be fathomed by the mind. I'm telling you the scope of consciousness. He's telling, I have no beginning, no end. I have no father, no mother. I'm not one. I am not one because to say that. I'm not two because to say two, I must be that one. I'm not even that one. So that means to say, what Baba is training us to be and to develop is how he did it for us in the 10 presentations that we staged in Puttaparthi. When we went and staged all, we made a lot of preparations, and then we landed and we said we will do this at this 7 o'clock, and then we'll do this at 9 o'clock, and then the hall will be available, and then when you go there, the hall will not be available because somebody else will be occupied. Then they will tell us to go to shed 13, and then when you go to shed 13, you will find 3 other people queuing up in the front of the door to use it. And then when is your turn? Your turn comes 3 hours later. But that place there, everything is thrown up in the air and you don't know how it's going to fall, where it's going to be, because the training is for the mind to move beyond conditions. We are setting, because consciousness game is beyond the mind, which is why he keeps saying, love my uncertainty, love my uncertainty. So everyone who's programmed his life so, my life is so structured, in spirituality it all becomes unstructured. Which is why sometimes when your life is so rosy and happy and everything else, suddenly you will get this bad spell. Bad spell is not a bad spell. Bad spell means suddenly the work will go, the car will collapse, the divorce will take place. Somebody went to the palmist and said, until 35 years, 45 years, until 47 years, very bad time. Husband and wife will separate. If children will scold you and put you somewhere, house will be stolen, business will collapse, accidents will happen, disease will happen. What happens after 47? After 47, you'll get used to it, he said. So the whole point in life is, when all these things is pulled away from our standpoint, everything collapses. In a semi-collapsed state, it is when we experience the unstructured consciousness, which is what we are supposed to do and learn. So the whole idea of life is to move from one phase to another phase. But why is it that STP, if it had happened 15 years ago, we would not have benefited? Why did it come now? And why is it that it has been taken, now it has come to such a high, unprecedented levels? Nowhere, maybe even in Australia also, you may not have. Why is it so? It's not because of anything. It's because for many, many years, for 20 years, 25 years, we have been working on consciousness. In your seva, in your this one, you're running here, running there, doing all these things. And now we are ready, because for realization also, God must give you the grace. My friends, think carefully. Duryodhana, what do you call, Lord Krishna went to the Kauravas and showed them, negotiated with them. Finally, last straw, he showed his Vishwarupa self also. You know who I am? By the way, do you know who I am? Okay, because see, you are so stupid. I have negotiated from top to bottom. You have not agreed. Okay, now he showed his entire Vishwarup self. After showing the Vishwarup, okay, any sensible person, what they would have done? My God, God is on the other side. Therefore, I have no chance to win. Wouldn't that realization come? But that realization never came because consciousness was not available. You must have consciousness to be available even to appreciate God, my friends. Otherwise, you will be running, your toilet, your diarrhea, you feel diarrhea. You're running to God. Krishna comes there in between. Come, my child. You'll say, come where? Come, Moksha, come. So I'll just have to go to toilet. Why? Why? Because the urge to purge is greater than the urge to merge. So, the point of the story is that in order to appreciate divinity, you must have sufficient consciousness for you. That is what this preparation is all about. So, in this sense, See, Swami says, I can turn mountains into valleys, oceans to rivers, hell into heaven, but I cannot change your heart and mind to me. That you have to do. Is this the grand utterance of divine helplessness? Oh, very powerful. Grand utterance of divine helplessness. It cannot do. I can do this, I can do this. But this one you have to do yourself. It cannot be done. Therefore, the individual has to now move beyond a certain field and make sure that he is available to the teacher. But to do this now, this is what again, see, Swami said, everything is 0, 0, 0, 0. Your family life, your this life. And suddenly you put one after that. God is one. But if you put one after all your zeros, and then you put one, there's no value. That means now my life, my personal life, my married life, my career, my studies. And then if I have time, then Baba. So this is it. So now my one is here. So when you talk about consciousness, it's about moving one in front. That means whatever you do, when you put God in front, who puts God in front? Not your mind, not your intellect, but your consciousness have decided that this number one is in front. So you can have studies, career, marriage, family, and you put God at the altar. At the side. You see, this is what's happening. So if you do everything in life, and then slowly at one point, you just go, Baba, like that, and come back. But who puts God right in the middle is the one who has got consciousness, which is of a higher nature. That is what we are trying to move and trying to develop through the STP program. So now, do you know who this Swamiji is? No? Okay, don't worry, I also don't know. But the point of this picture is not about the Swamiji, but it's about the 3 mark here. This is the Saivites mark. The Saivites have always put this 3 inside. Do you know why it is being put 3? Because that is only available. The forehead cannot take 5. No. Because we can only take 3 because there is a very powerful symbol, and this symbol can be linked to consciousness. Now, why is it that we cannot move out? It's because of the 3 things we have to burn to ashes. The ashes, these 3, is because of these 3 we are prisoned in our own jail. So what is these 3? The first one is what is called Maya, illusion. We got to burn illusion, Maya. Okay, how do we do? This is a very abstract concept, but let me tell you this. Have you ever seen people who are on the deathbed? The people, elderly people who are on the deathbed. You go and see them. I have witnessed and seen. The eyes will be glazed. And even though the grandchildren will be there, their enthusiasm to interact with everybody will become very minimal. They will slowly withdraw. Earlier the interest was in many things, but the interest is withdrawn. They slowly are not more interested to dialogue with anybody. They just with their own self finish the thing. Life gets withdrawn. Why? Because they suddenly start to think and feel that the enthusiasm to interact with the whole world becomes minimal. You are into going to work. Why? Because the enthusiasm is there. All every day, morning to night, you're working. Every day, 20 late you come back, work. You go to doctor, one day, doctor, I'm very sorry to tell you. It's bad news. What is it? 4th stage. What is it? 4th stage. Stage 4? No, 4th stage. What? Cancer. Maximum. Now doctors are very good. They become gods also. There are maximum 3 months. Now, next day when you only got 3 months to live. So therefore now, next day when you go to work, you're a totally different individual. Your enthusiasm to work there is not so, because 3 months more only you got to live. Slowly. Suddenly you will appear in the bhajan center. The office work which you are so preoccupied. வாங்க உள்ளுக்கு போங்க உள்ளுக்கு. அதெல்லாம் ஏற்கனவே சொல்லிட்டோம். ஆனா புரியாது. Because the Maya is so strong. The mind, the Maya factor is so strong that we think that this whole world is so real. This is the point. This is what wisdom is. Highest consciousness is. After you do STP, what is the ultimate thing? STP also will become a ritual, just as going to a bhajan will become a ritual. Just like going to a temple will become a ritual. You just go to STP and come back, it also will turn to be a ritual if you do not have the wisdom to know that what is this whole purpose for. Ultimately, once you practice, once you come to that knowledge, that's why Baba said 2 things you must not forget. What? Death and God. That means ultimately you're going to go. Once you know you're going to go, then you find the relationship with the working place will be correct. Relationship with everyone will be right. Will not be overzealously attached, nor overindulged in certain things. You will be just balanced in the right sense, because consciousness has given you that wisdom. Otherwise, people get carried away. And that is what the syndrome of this. Can you do it? Cannot. Can you have? Not available. Are you able to do this? Not available. What are you? Busy, 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 until doctor tells you. Fourth stage. Immediately. All break, everything stop. Now, கோவிலுக்கு பஜனைக்கு இதுக்கு போய் அங்கே போய் இங்கே போய் விழுந்து கும்பிட்டு அடிச்சு பிடிச்சி அடிச்சு ஐயோ, shave your hair. As if God wants your hair, but that's yours. Shave it off. Doesn't matter. Bowl. Everything we do in so much of seriousness. Why? The moment you know death is there, your priority changes. So what changes the priority? Consciousness. So this is what holds. So the consciousness, if it is not there, you cannot change priority. And when you cannot change priority, you're caught in your own jail. It is just like the rat who is running around the thing, run, the whole thing is moving. And we just move until collapse there. And this is what everyone gets caught in. So what we are here is not to work. There are people who, I tell you, I cannot understand. It's most irritating to see people so preoccupied as if you're born for that job. My friend, when you're born, you have to brush your teeth. But the purpose of life is not to brush your teeth. You want to get it? Because if you don't brush your teeth, other people cannot live. So therefore, you're born, you're brushing your teeth is only for the purposes of making your teeth well, so that it can help you to sustain. In the same way, work is like this. Everything is like, but there's a higher purpose. So consciousness must first get us, what is this higher purpose that I have come for? And this is where every funeral becomes an open ground in which every individual becomes enlightened. In a funeral, have you seen? Everybody becomes a Swamiji. Do you know that? Even Swamiji realizing in the mountains will not realize what the people at the funeral have realized. Every funeral, everybody, look at this. So that means that life is only this much. That's all what life is. The moment you this is highest realization factor. What am I spending my whole life here? This whole veil of illusion is open, and for a moment you see what reality is, and at the end of the day, until this whole thing will close back when you go back home and have your bath and wait for the next funeral to come in. So therefore, this knowledge is only in between two funerals. So therefore, occasionally opens, occasionally closes. So therefore, Maya factor is what that keeps us inside our jail. To enable us to do this, there's a yoga. Now, one hand, brother, come. Stephen Govey. Okay, hold this. Now, this is a very powerful yoga which we can do. See, take this one hand. You do it properly, it'll be very good. Look, take it and move it up. Move it up. You can see the wriggle. Okay, bring it to your head. Shake it, keep shaking it. Put the left hand out. Yes, put it up. Left hand, one hand. This both must be done together. Now you bring this left hand down and point here. Shake it. Now look at each other. You have openly declared that there's nothing in your head. So this is what is called Nirmamo nirnahamkarah samadukka sukha shame bish. Nothing. There's nothing here. What we have filled up is with a lot of concepts and ideas that life must be like this. Ultimately, what happens is what yesterday somebody said here. I forgot who said. Who said? Michael. Yes, Michael said, nothing. You are absolutely nothing. But for this nothing, when you tell you are nothing, you cannot know. But the spiritual masters make you realize that you are nothing. Swami, somebody went to Swami, how to be humble? Swami said, what is there to be proud of? Nothing in this, nothing, even this body is not yours. So this enchantment that keeps us like this, that everything is so real, is what is called Maya. Once you are stuck in it, the second element that comes to project the reality is what is called the ego. That is where the second one must get burned. This is the second. So once you know that this is real, Maya, once it's real, your ego comes to project it, that this is what it is. I know what I have done. And the center is supposed to make ourselves detached, but the center becomes a point of attachment. So we become attached to many things inside. How is your, this is my center? Okay, but brother, your center, my. So we become state conscious, I conscious, so many conscious. Sometimes now we have moved away. If it is India, we will be worried about whether we are Brahmin or this, Patara, Attara. So all these things. We become so conscious about our caste and creed. So the point is, we become conscious, and this consciousness that keeps us confined like this is where is projected by the ego projector. Once it is ego, you sustain that ego. And because you sustain the ego, a lot of third thing that comes up is your karma starts to develop. And this is the three luggages that keeps us confined, and that is why the Saivites quickly burn this up, because if you don't burn these three, you cannot come to the other side. So the whole matter is of translating and transforming consciousness into something else, moving it into a higher levels of this. That is why when you come together and we sit down together, and when you analyze and you jot down in your diary, you're arresting your mind, you're stopping your mind, you're making your thoughts you become vigilant over your certain thoughts. And why am I like this? Why is this like that? Why there's some people yesterday experienced that now as a result you're making a conscious effort in not doing certain things. All this comes about by this consciousness doing this. Now in consciousness there is a certain property for consciousness. For example, this is called the inside out theory. In consciousness there is one point called the inside out. What does it mean? It means that whatever that is happening inside this world of ours, in front that you are able to see and feel, is a result of something that is not right or pure inside. The more and more purity you possess here, the world automatically becomes more and more pure. The more and more the world is impure is only because of our own impurities. So we don't worry like what yesterday somebody said, change the world, no need to change the village. If you just change yourself, by changing this, you can change the other person. There's a book that is written, and I've read now so many of these books now that is coming. One of the best books to read, spiritual book. How many of you read one book a month? You know, book? Because the way you look at me, very funny. Book, Pudusa irukku. Okay. How many of you read one book a month? 4, 5, 6, 7 people, very good. So, see, if you're not a vigorous reader, or if you're not a reader, then you'll find you lose out a lot. A lot of Western people write so many books on this consciousness. It's important. Once you read Swami's books or literature, if you read those others, it'll back and you see what Baba is saying. My God, Baba is saying. Many, many things will get into click. One of the best books to read is this book called Dying to be Me. How many of you have read Dying to be Me? Dying to be Me? 3 people, okay. This is by Anita Munjani's book, and I think it's one of the it's an incredible book, one of the best sellers that have now hit the streets, and shops are now selling it like crazy. She's a Hong Kong person who has developed cancer, and as a result of that cancer which she developed, what has happened is she died, and she was brought to the hospital, and subsequently she died. And when she died, she moved her body. She had an out-of-the-body experience. She went into another loka, and then that book describes the details of that other loka. And then within some time, she comes back into that original body of hers, and within 4 days, the doctor cannot understand. They put lumbar puncture, they do all kinds of things to her body, but the original lemon-sized lymphomas or cancer cells are not able to be found. So she experienced spontaneous remission, and she got totally cured. And so in the book she says, everything is about a state of consciousness. When she goes there, she experiences a higher state of consciousness, and then when she returns back, she's totally cured. What does this imply? Imply means that we must be very careful. When you read these books, it just gives you a startling thing. Hey, we only got a short time to deal with our body, you know. Many people after funeral I have seen, never mind, at least he passed away, all his problems are solved. Actually, people don't understand. That is the beginning of his problems. So far, that problem which he had was his body. He can use that body to solve. But once the body disappears, the soul comes out. The soul which has got a lot of vasanas will continue to live in that world. And you have so much of desires, so many things that has got to be satisfied. So Bhagavan is giving us a very short period of time, giving us this organization, giving us whatever it is, to continuously work on your desires, to work on your thing, to exhaust all your vasanas, to correct and bring back consciousness. Because on the other side, you cannot improve. This is the point. We are telling you, what the books are saying, and the book is not one. No? All the books are consistently saying the same thing. On the other plane, you cannot improve. You just go there and wait there, and after some time, you get to be born in somebody else's womb. And that is why, don't you see, every doctor who picks up the child upside down, and then have you noticed the doctor will beat 2 times? Why? Because you failed the previous exam. You have no business to be born in this world. The fact that you came back is because you didn't do your work well. Pop, 2 hit. Somebody else has walloped your child before you even got a chance. Think. So therefore, it is because the child has been born again for the simple reason to exhaust that vasana. Powerful subject, which means to say Bhagavan and all his compassion is giving us this chance to evolve our karma, to quickly evolve, to change, to move, because time is short. It is not going to be there for long. That is why consistently, whenever one of the books are saying now that a patient comes to sit here and stand, this doctor, he works, if he's got a disease, this doctor works on himself. He says, if I clarify and clear my consciousness to become pure, chances are you will become better. It's amazing. He's using the inside-out theory in which you clear his consciousness, the person who comes in front of him will be cured. And he has shown by experimental evidences that just by working on himself, not on the other patient, the patient gets cured. So the whole world is a reflection of this. This is inside-out theory. I give you one day, my wife was watering the plants. Somebody came in front of the house and asked, where is this address? She was about to go to the gate. Then she suddenly remembered the neighbor 2 days ago said, there'll be people who comes and ask for address. Don't go near because they'll come and snatch the chain. So the moment she went, and suddenly she remembered the husband's, she remembered the neighbors saying this. And at that time, when this was happening, this was about 7:45 in the morning. And upstairs, I was talking to Brother Jega on the subject of, crime has come up so much and we must do something. This was the subject, and we are talking upstairs very seriously about what we can do to help crime problem. And downstairs, my wife is having this experience. She went near the gate. She suddenly thought, she moved 2 steps back, and then she started to move. That fellow jumped over the gate and rushed behind her. So she went rushing inside, and she slammed the door in front of him. And he locked the door, and she pressed the alarm. So the alarm interrupted our phone conversation with me, and I was saying, what alarm? Why is it going on? And I'll call you back now. When I came back, she was sitting there panicky, and she was asking me, see, this has happened. So I got very annoyed. I went to the police station. And when I went to the police station, I complained. And these police stations are now like 7-Eleven. There's a long queue, and everybody is waiting. So finally I asked the police station, police fellows, what is this form going to do? They told me, this form is going to be filed up. And then what is this file going to be? Then I saw all the files there, berapa banyak file. So I said, I want to see your main officer, the number 1 guy. So the guy came down. So I said, yeah, you have a serious problem. Professor, you sudah bagi tahu masalah you. Saya punya masalah, siapa nak bagi tahu? So I said, what is your problem? He said, my problem is that I only got a few police officers. The crime is so much, I don't have anything to do. So I was sitting with him now trying to help the police officer. So I said, have you done community policing? Why don't you speak with the community leaders? Then I was trying to give the community leaders numbers and all that. Then I was walking back home, then I thought, why should this thief come into my house like this? Why is this? What is it? Because everything is an inside out. What is it? So what is the signal that universe is trying to tell me? It is from this point that that brainstorming took place, and the program Shakti came out. And we went and took hardcore criminals and changed them. And Ragan was one of the main people also there. And then subsequently, over the years, we evolved the Shakti program, and today now we are dealing with it. Everything is a signal, a trigger. So the point of the story, that what I'm trying to tell you is that it's an inside-out theory. If there are soldiers fighting for country, and if the soldiers are dying for sake of unity and so on, we will salute them. But the 239 passengers in the MH370 is like that. So if you look at the universal consciousness, probably they have been selected. And as a result of that, you look at the world, what's happening. You look at the countries that are coming together. You look at the people that are coming together. You look at the ocean of, unconditional love coming together. You look at the fact, never in the history of Malaysia has this ever happened. When the Sathya Sai Council with the Friendship Group of Interreligious walked into a mosque and we were sitting saying, in the sanctum sanctorium where the Muslims were praying, we were all there. The Christian father was prayed, the Buddhist father prayed, all in a church, and the mosque people gave us a vegetarian dinner also, and never has this happened. And we said to them that 50 over years we are living in this country, we have heard the azans, we have heard the mosque, but this is the first time we are in this mosque. And we saw the beauty and the majesty and the grandeur of the mosque, and we said, if this creation is so beautiful, how more beautiful will the Creator be? And this was only because of the fact that it has happened. But I also tell you, this is also because of something else, not because of just this. So understand this principle. Everything is inside. Anything that happens to you, why am I having this miserable, nagging, irritating husband? Why is this? Okay, so so when you're having this, so you don't work, you don't change that person. That is because the inside-out theory states that you have to work on your own consciousness to change that. The only way, why am I getting a naughty son, is because of that. Everything happens for a certain purpose. So the whole thing of a spiritualist person is, whatever you see, you change inside. If there is no unity in a state, it is because your consciousness is low. Full stop, period. That's it. You must be accountable now. If there are few people who cannot come together, it is only because your consciousness in those people are low. Then what about the other people? Other people are even lower. So therefore, what you should do now, if you see people are low, if your consciousness is high, that's it, you goes. So the whole thing can change. When Calcutta was burning, when Hindus and Muslims were fighting, when Nehru said, I will send the army, I will send the police, which he did, no, Calcutta was not able to be calm anymore. Everywhere there was fire. Everywhere the police stations were burned, the police cars were turned, the army trucks were turned. It is during at this point, Bapuji picked up his stick and he said, Nehru asked, where are you going? Calcutta. What can you do? One old man, what can you do? We have sent the army, the whole place is mad. And every Muslim, Hindu fellow cuts. Every Hindu, Muslim fellow cuts. It went like mad, they were mad. What can a Gandhiji, an old man, do? But he went. And what did he do? Went into a hut. And what did he do? He said, I will fast unto death. That's it. No, he never said, stop the fight, stop the fight. Never gave long speeches. I said, I will fast unto death. And then second day, Churchill sent a telegram. He said, ask the half-naked man to stop this nonsense. The cabinet came, Patel, Sada Patel, everybody came surrounded. Gandhiji was like that. By the news spread around, the Muslims and Hindus began to become calm. On the third day, all of them came and stood next to Bapuji's legs and said, and somebody propped up his head, put his monocle, he saw them and said, Bapuji will never, how do I know this? They both dropped their weapons and fell on Bapuji's feet. That is when the first glass was given to him. He broke the fast 3 days. What was the power of that? Power of consciousness. So this is the inside-out theory. The more and more, have you not seen Tirukkural? If there is a very pure person sitting in a village, rain will come. What does it mean? It means that the whole world is like this very dry, Jerebu and all this. We have to work on our consciousness. We can, oh, no Jerebu, no Jerebu. Okay, you now become pure. Go for the STP. more and more pure. The purer and purer you are, the world will become better and better. And this is what's happening now. So as a result, I think it's not, and there's something else that's happening as well. Never underestimate what we are doing, the second one. Because why is it happening now? Why did the mosque open? It's not because of anything. It's because Penang, Kedah, and all these people. As you keep on working on your consciousness, wherever you are, it'll add on. Friends, do not believe that the people who just sat there and talked to you about those transformation, about the inner transformation. What happens in a global scale is that whatever you do a little bit to your consciousness has a very profound effect on the world outside. I think we got a chance to open the mosque and enter inside, not because just of our effort, it is because collectively all of you were consistently working on your own goodness, and that contributed to the collective thing that when we knocked on the door, the mosque opened. So everything happens at one point, somewhere else, something else happens. So we must believe that whatever that we're doing, even a little bit thing that we're doing is contributing largely to a very big scale of events, a scale of things. And this is what it is. So we must start to examine that the world is like this because I did not do anything. What do you know? What is the testimony that your consciousness is working? Very simple. You read papers. Terrible. Rape cases all going on. Teenage pregnancy. Terrible. And flip the page. Nothing is happening. That means to say you still must go some more STP. If you keep on going STP, the one who's now STP has become, suddenly you look at, hey, something, we must do something. Okay, then it's working. That means to say something that is happening outside that you're managing to work. Why? Because Swami said, follow the master, fight till, face the devil, fight till then, finish the game. So at the end of the day, you must see who the supreme embodiment of consciousness is and what is he doing. And Bhagavan, throughout his entire 85 years of existence, has only been doing something about society repair, society change, bringing reforms. Why? Because he's concerned. So when he saw in Chennai, when he was sitting in the back car and he was drinking, somebody was drinking water, he said, from the puddle, one child was drinking the water. He said, why should she drink water like this? By this year, I will now launch the water project in Chennai. So what does it mean? I see, it reflects, my consciousness responds. So a devotee must be like this. A devotee who's now doing STP, who's now involved in all these things, suddenly must begin to feel, hey, why this is happening now? Why I can't do something about this? So as a result of this, you become a direct contributor to changes in the society because bringing into awareness, never underestimate what we are doing. It's very powerful. Third point is resource optimization. Now I'm telling you, all those people who are miserably working and from morning to night, don't work hard. Work on consciousness, because consciousness will help you to do the same thing in a shorter time. Don't believe? Watch. Look at this. There are only 3 basic things that you have in your life. Only 3 basic things you have, okay? There's no 4th things. One thing is everybody has got time. That's time. Then second basic thing you have is thought. Basic thought. This is the only thought. And the third thing, you know what is that? Third thing? Third thing? Money, no. Third, Action? Breath. Actually, it's not breath, it's breath. B-R-E-A-T-H. Sorry, breath. Okay, so breath, breathing. So these are the only 3 commodities you possess. Time, thought, breath. So, a personality management is about managing your time, your thought, and your breath. Why breath? Because the more and more, less and less you breathe, which means to say you take a longer time to breathe, you find that the health is much more. For example, anger. Have you seen a person angry? What he said after that? Don't know after center, the chairman said a few things. Lucky you didn't come. Even when I heard it, I was so angry. I can imagine how you must have felt. He condemned you, lah. Really, yeah. Then what else he said? How many people heard? See, and my breathing is changing, you see. So when I'm anxious, when I'm angry, when I'm anxious, we find the breathing will change. So there are only 3 things that you have basic resources. Time, thought, and breath. So if you, by elevating your consciousness, you're able to use this time, breath, and thought in a very powerful way. Give you a good example. What is this? Yeah. So question now. How long did it take to build super specialist hospital in Puttaparthi? A, 15 months. B, 7 months. C, 24 months. D, 36 months. E, 9 months. 9 months, right? Now, why should Baba, who you know that he's going to build hospital, he's God, he can build it leisurely, is it not? Say, 5-year plan, 6 years plan. Suddenly he went with Professor Krishlov in his car, and he told Professor Krishlov, who is the architect of the hospital, Krishlov, here, operation this year. Krishlov looked like this. He said, where, Swami? Here. He looked at it and saw barren land. But Swami, there's no hospital, only. Yeah, I know. And that was the month of May. Sorry, 9 months before that. Month of March or something like that. He looked like that, and he suddenly saw there's only barren. Krishlov came in BBC and said, what will take 7 years to build in London, took 7 months to build in Puttaparthi. Basically, it was about 9 months, 7 to 9 months. Okay, so this is what it is. So, hey, very interesting, huh? Very powerful example he's giving. Look at this. What is this? Chaitanya Jyoti. And look at this, another picture. How long did it take to build Chaitanya Jyoti? A, 2 years, B, 3 years, C, 1 year, D, 5 years, E, 4 years. 1 year. Within 1 year, Chaitanya Jyoti was built. Why such a big, huge building, stones and so many things was built in 1 year? It's a very powerful concept. Then, you see, this is, what is this? Stadium. And how, this is Sathya Sai International Center for Sports. How long did it take to build a basketball stadium? 3 years, 2 years, 5 months, 11 months, 15 months. How long? 11 months. Going once, going twice. 5 months. Yeah. So 5 months, they built this whole stadium. Okay. Formula. Why is it that Baba is demonstrating this? That in his place, everything is moving fast. Because in consciousness, if you develop and you continue focusing on STP, what you can finish in a long time, you can finish in a short time. The point of this is that if you continue to say that you do not have time to spend for God, it just means that you do not know how to work in your office. Full stop, period. Those of you who continue to say you do not have time, I got so much homework, it simply is declaring to yourself that you're incompetent to work with your higher consciousness. That's all. This is the statement. You must come to the chair. Kari tupono. That's the thing. And then it's better to spit at yourself, because it means to say you have not come to that consciousness. That is why coming to STP continues to work on your consciousness, that you are able to do many, many things and achieve the things that you need to achieve, because Bhagavan has demonstrated it. Another point, you know the one who passed away, Mr. Ramakrishnan, who was recently passed away. He was this incredible organization, Larsen and Toubro. Larsen and Toubro, you look, he came and declared. He said, all my projects are big. I build hospitals, I build everything. But all the projects after building for Swami, now I build it in a very short time. I build in quality time, I build very short time, I finish this. So what happens is at the end of the day, whatever that I've managed to finish, I can finish everything in a very short period of time. So what does this mean? It means that if you're working on your consciousness, if you're really meditating, if you're really chanting Gayatri Mantra, there must be some strong evidence, which means you must be ambidextrous. You must be able to finish every project in a short span of time. Number 3, you must be giving more and more of your time to Bhagavan in his mission. The whole idea is that some people forget that STP is a tool. It's a tool. Without a tool is a boon. With a tool, you increase your capacity of consciousness. The end result is that the output becomes much more. That means at the working place, in your material world, that's why, she said, akara, ukara. The second part is your worldly achievements becomes very distinct. So one who is now in this spiritual line, you must not compromise your excellence that you are supposed to get in your worldly life, but at the same time, achieve things in a shorter span of time so that you can allocate. Why? As you're busy in your working place, if you take a little bit of time from your working place and give it to your service or something, what is happening now is you're shifting your consciousness. There is a shift. This small shift in this consciousness is contributing largely to humanity, largely to the world, largely to something else which you are not seeing or we are not seeing. So what the teacher is saying, that's why love all, serve all, help everybody continue to do, is because of the simple reason that we are able to change the way in which we see things, look at things in a different line. You find that by focusing on our consciousness, you're able to achieve bigger and greater things. So time is God. If one loves God, he'll find God in the form of time. So next time someone says no time, better you say no God, because time is God. So they say, can you come for the meeting? No God, brother. I don't have God. See, like, better. No God, I don't have God, because God is time. No time, no God. So if you have the time, it means that you are spending for consciousness development. Then if one has love for God, he will know how to juggle his commitments. So another one is that, the fourth one is consciousness is happiness. At the end of the day, Swami always said, look at me, I'm always happy birthday, Swami. Swami said, don't make me happy, I'm always happy, make me proud. Papa said, don't make me happy, make me proud. Make me proud. Which means to say, at the end of the day, the whole idea of someone who's being consciousness, who's coming to spiritual line, the reflection must be that you're totally happy and totally joyous. Why is this so important? Because in 2015, World Health Organization is saying that the number 1 disease in the world is going to be depression. Depression. In New Zealand, that a country that I came from, every week 10 people kill themselves. Youth people die. Every year 550 die. The last four. Consciousness does four things. The first one, because this is a spiritual subject, you are allowed to forget. Anything given, you can easily forget. Can you look at your notes? First one? Yeah, the inside out. Okay, that means to say we must purify ourselves so that the world becomes better. So the world is negative only because we are negative. We got to purify. Second? Underestimate. That means to say whatever little we do, even if you are just struggling to keep your words or change a little bit, there has got a pronounced effect on the whole world. A little bit effort has got a drastic change in consciousness. And we cannot underestimate the work that is being done. That is why Swami said, I'm working silently, I'm working silently. This is all because of this huge thing. Never underestimate that the fact that Bhagavan spent so many days in the hospital towards the end. As many people criticize, this Swami is the avatar, he should have just left like that. Why did he fall sick and so on? But it's a very powerful shift in consciousness. Because in the center, what happened was in those 2-3 weeks, when he was in the hospital, devotees from all around the world came to the center in the evening and prayed. Now, when you go to Puttaparthi, you go anywhere and you pray for promotion, you pray for what we call health, you pray for money. But at these points of time, you didn't pray for anything. You just prayed for Swami. And when you're praying for Swami, they say, bhakti for the sake of bhakti alone. Love for the sake of love alone is bhakti. Everything else is just dedication. Swami is barter trade. But he created a situation where the whole world went to the centers and prayed only for the teacher, nothing else for themselves. Suddenly, there's a shift in the consciousness. I'm not sure, but at that period of time, we must check the galaxy and check the time. Probably there would be some major disaster would have taken place. So just by being in the hospital, he was doing seva. By making devotees come and pray. Swami, why didn't you, no need to go to hospital, you should have given an order to the council. You know what would have happened? We would have made an announcement. Dear devotees, come to the center and pray. The reply, Saturday and Sunday cannot. Working days, we are very busy. So many things. But suddenly now, whatever it is you have left behind and you came to the center to pray. So what is that? Building consciousness. A collective, huge consciousness coming together has got a very pronounced effect. And that is what that has happened. You must read, please, from today. Go and read. Walk into the bookshops. Read those books that are written on consciousness alone by Westerners. Swami's books is yes, but this one, because spiritualists must be very powerful and very thorough on the subject. We must be very strong in this, especially facilitators. And one of the key things that we have heard now, facilitation, we need to improve. You can improve techniques, my friends. But somebody asks a question, you must know how to answer. Then suddenly somebody asks a question and then we will bring it up next week. Cannot. So then they will say they want, so you must be able to read and then be able to give out the answer at that appropriate time. So knowledge is a very important component. The second. Third, resource optimization, which means to say, the more and more consciousness you have, the ability to manage your thoughts, ability to manage your time, ability to manage your breath, all comes in automatically. Which means a devotee, a Sathya Sai Baba devotee must be defined as the ability to do many things without stress. Yes, without stress. You must enjoy doing it. See, my friends, 25 years. I came in 1987. Now 25 years. Every day, every moment, I have not lessened any speed. It is one project after one thing, something bigger, something bigger, something bigger, something bigger. It's always big. And it's not exhaustion. It's not exhausting. Because it is a mission. Mission work is not exhausting. That is why when you work on STP, you can change your consciousness. But work in the mission, also you can change consciousness. If you keep on doing seva, your consciousness is shifted. So the point is, doesn't necessarily, I'm telling you now, as far as council is concerned, this spiritual transformation program is the most important program of all the programs that we have released as far as council is concerned. Why? Because you cannot have 15th floor if you cannot have ground floor. Simple, the whole building will collapse. So 15th floor, we are now reaching higher, but the ground must be very strong. Must be very steady. We cannot have exhausted people. They say every time the same people are doing the same thing, brother. This is the same kind of comment. That's because your consciousness has not expanded. Simple as that. If you increase the people, increase the force. Look, what is the point? When we say transforming consciousness, individual consciousness is yes. But look, in a center, there are 30, 40 people. This term is called collective consciousness. What is the point of bringing consciousness together and the impact of that collective consciousness is the same as individual consciousness? Meaningless. Meaningless. The fact that we have come as a big group of people, there is something, a role that we have to play collectively. Collective consciousness has power. That is why congregational prayers have got power. Congregational meditation has got power. Congregational changing together has got power. So that's why we have come together. I am telling you, many centers are not exploiting his people and potential to the highest. We are just numbers, but we are not able to consolidate and not able to integrate. I've always told Mohana also, KL Selangor centers, which are many there, but the fact that we are so many people and the work that is coming out is not proportional to the kind of number of people that we are possessing. We are huge, huge force. We are a big force. But we are just going around, going little. It's because of the consciousness that has not been built. So we feel, and I'm telling you as council, bedrock, the number one bedrock is STP. So all council leaders and myself included, whenever I am in the country, most of the time I'm up in the air. Lucky not in the missing airlines, but But the point is, I will definitely want to participate. In fact, now I'm very enthusiastic even to facilitate STP, especially with the youth. because youth is a very nice energy. Okay, so bias. Okay, so the thing is, this is what it is. And I've told Nakiran, every EHV, every center, I'm now telling her, every Sai center who has got Bal Vikas EHV students inside there, the teachers, every month you should be having a monthly teachers meeting. In that monthly meeting, you should put in STP as one of the things. 1.5 hours you should put, because you have no right to change and transform any other person if you yourself have not transformed. And so therefore the value you are teaching becomes sharper. It will go straight into the child's heart if it is thrown from a consciousness which is superior. So that is why some people, when they say certain things, it goes inside. Some people can keep on telling. So it's not about the words, it's about the consciousness from which the words are thrown. So it is important for teachers to practice this and integrate this and become a very forceful force in the center if you are planning to change consciousness. You know, we did the youth program, the Shakti program, the headmaster, the principal of a college raised their hands like this to us and said, these boys don't even sit in the class for 5 minutes. They carry whiskey bottle and brandy bottles in class. They disturb the girls, they smoke. They cannot sit. How are you going to transform? I said, you change, bring them all into a bus, send them there. We will see what we can do. They changed. They sent naughty boys of the highest order. You cannot, naughty, they define naughtiness. You know, the way they can't sit. How to sit, they can't sit. So these boys, our youth led by Ragan and the whole team came. How we change? I said, the only way you can change them is the only way that you have to transform. We have to change. So they said meditation, vegetarian, everything else. Before, it's like a war. Now you're going inside the zone, war zone. So these boys sat next to those boys. Highly energetic, totally naughty, completely not controlled. These boys sat there. 18 hours. The camp started on Saturday morning. This is the test. Test. If you're spiritual, if you're pure, you should show your purity to the people who need purity. There's no point sitting with the people. So these boys sat there. Saturday morning it started. Sunday morning the principal came to the place, campsite. They wanted to see, I want to see how you're handling. He came there and stood there and he saw all the boys heavy in a workshop. Hey, these are my students. How come they're sitting there? He said, I think you must have put something in their drinks. Because you must have spiked something in the drinks. As a result of that particular intervention, by Sunday evening, these fellas took out their earrings, they changed. 18 hours of intervention, life changed. They went back, fell on the parents' feet. Next, on Monday, they fell. Tuesday, the parents came to the principal and said, what did you do to my children? What did you do to my children? How come they have changed? These boys are very naughty. The principal, look at consciousness, the principal continued to give us classes. Subsequently, the principal became the principal coordinator of all the vocational training colleges in Malaysia. She got promoted. The moment he got promoted, he highlighted this program. And as a result, there was a session where we were talking to all the principals of the colleges. Demands after demands came to us. We would take my college, because everywhere the same problem. So what do we need? We need to be pure, because there's a lot of impurities outside, my friends. There's a lot of impurity. I'm telling you, nobody cares whether you're spiritual. No one cares what you believe in. But everybody is bothered about what is the consequence of your belief. Full stop. You can believe in a stone and you become very good. That stone is God. So you believe in Sai Baba. But the fact is, his greatness depends upon what is it that you're manifesting, how you're managing, how you're changing, and how you're bringing a consciousness. Satyasai Council, because of the our meeting starts at 8 o'clock, EXCO meeting. It finishes at 1 o'clock. I look forward for that meeting. Every Wednesday meeting is the session where I meet. Not because of the technical things and all, because I love to be with this energy of these people. The EXCO people who are there, I love to be with them and I enjoy the vibration and the consciousness. That's why somebody said, 3 hours, 3 years enough or not? 3 years, is the module enough or not? I asked Swami Chinmayanda, who wrote the Bhagavad Gita, translated. I said, Swamiji, I'm a great fan of Swami Chinmayanda. I went to him and said, Swami, how long do I need to take to finish Bhagavad Gita? He said, Suresh, you should not finish Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita should finish you. Very powerful program. Bhagavad Gita should finish you. Which means to say, as you do this STP program, as somebody rightly said, as Reddy rightly said, as you keep on coming, you come not for the people because consciousness. So what's happening is an aura. Dr. Venkatraman said in Help Institute when he gave a talk, he talked about quantum entanglement. He used the word quantum entanglement, which means when you have a group of people here, when you finally come, you talk, finally what happens is, there will be not much of talking at the end. So why did you go? To enjoy everybody's company. Because everyone becomes so pure, the quantum energy is so you bring your aura and you get an auric bath because of the people's energy is so high. Two Swamijis who were contradicting each other, who was always in two schools of thought. This really happened. Two schools of thought. All the devotees brought the two Swamijis together to have a heavy debate. So they put a table, one Swamiji here, and all were waiting. All devotees wanted to say what? Because they are two opposing schools of thought. After some time, everybody kept quiet. The two Swamijis were totally quiet. And after that, after half an hour, 45 minutes, they went, what happened? Why didn't you speak a single word? That Swamiji said to this Swamiji, we didn't speak anything because we enjoyed each other's company. We enjoyed each other's company. Some of you just came probably for this program, but some of your friends just, nice. It's just this, and this is quantum entanglement. That we are all synergizing and we are giving a chance for this Atmic thing to come about. So this is what the whole idea of increasing the consciousness so that we start to slowly change so that we can manage the resources, time, thought, breath. 3 things we must manage. So a devotee must know how you must be able to do things. Never open your mouth and say no time. Because it is because finally, ultimately, you will never have time. There is going to come a time when you will never have a time, and that is when everybody will carry you and the rest of the devotees will be liberally waiting for you to chant the Triyambaka mantra. So as you are taken, that is the time when you can say, no time. Time has gone. But until then, till the very last, because that's what our Baba did. Till the very last second, he was serving. And then until the last darshan, he folded his hands to everybody to say, 85 years I've given my message. 85 years I live my life. Devotees, please be a custodian of my message. Live my message for the rest of the world, because the world needs it so badly. The whole world is collapsing like this, and it is spiritual lethargy. It is spiritual shame. If we are spiritually conscious, you read the newspaper and you're not responding, it is a spiritual shame. That means we are not awakened. We have not awakened to a higher consciousness where we cannot become a solution provider. Which is what the whole thing, fourth one, what did I say? Happiness. Ultimately, you must be totally happy. The consciousness must be. That is why Swami said, Hari Bhajana Vina, Sukha Shanti Nahi, Nirvana Nahi, Udhara Nahi. All these words demonstrate you must be happy. You cannot, some people, We call this the chichak syndrome, you know. Chichaks have stopped doing it because we are doing it so beautifully. Enna varapodo. And then some people don't even know how to be happy. You have an enjoyable life, you got a thing, and you are, I don't know, brother. Sometimes I'm thinking, brother, sometimes you ask, how are you? You come, brother, sit down. In 1976, when I came in the ship once, you start your tragedy story from that time. People don't know how to be happy. The fifth one is what is called, the last one, conscious. The moment you become a consciousness and reaches a point, it becomes to a point where you become a solution provider. Solution provider, the fifth one, last one. A solution provider means classic. Reddy, who's got a business class seat, suddenly decides to give it up for the two, or go and help the two parents who are from the center. Okay, that's powerful. That's not many people will do that. But people are planning to do. Why is it happening like that? It's consciousness. So it's consciousness also of the parents who are the universal consciousness always aligns and plans for everything to be in the right place in the right time. Provided you must be aligned. Universal consciousness, once you have surrendered, Baba, you take care, then it arranges itself everything. So for the two parents, Reddy was the example. We came in the bus. We stopped somewhere in Tapa. Not Tapa, somewhere, I can't remember. We stopped there for a short while. And as I was coming, Brother Ravi, our Bangsa Center Ravi, bought something and coming out. And I saw him holding two bags of tea and 2 bags of kachang. So I said, brother, for who is this one? This is one for me. Then who's this one? The other one? Don't know lah. Anybody wants me, I can give one. Funny. And the other kachang packet, one I brought. Then the other one, anyone lah who needs. You also take like one. So I was very surprised to see somebody go and buy something, and he bought extra. He doesn't even know who he's buying it for. He's just buying it for, and it shows consciousness. Consciousness is action, real. It's a very simple thing. But I observe, because I'm a scientist, every line people talk, everything I observe, because I want to learn. This is all good things. Billy, everyone went to Puttaparthi. Why did Billy yesterday gave an amazing session. Why did he suddenly think, go in school? How did he think that of turning that whole thing into the, what he call a format card? He pasted the whole card, he did the whole work, and then he is selling to everybody so that the school can get the money. Why you thought of this? Why did you? School is yours? No. But why did you think? Because he became a solution provider. That's what consciousness means. If you're doing meditation, you're doing Gayatri, you must become a solution provider. At the end of the day, because that's what Baba is. The guns were fired. Don't forget, the guns were fired when Swami was taken inside, in the tomb, and he was actually did the Samadhi. The guns were fired. A statesman salute was not fired because he did Adi Rudra Yajna. He was not fired because he did bhajans. He was not fired because he did meditation. He was fired because the nation saluted him. As a result, because he changed the way education was to perceive. He did educational reforms. He brought health reforms. He brought social reforms in the form of water. Meaning, as long as you're spiritual, it has to be consequential. Otherwise, your spiritual is just passive lethargy and nothing else but sitting down there and blinking. That is why Mahavishnu's eyes is half open or half closed. Half open, very good. Mahavishnu's eyes is half closed. It's the same. Okay. So half open, half closed gives you the example. It is not totally open, which means your eyes should not be totally materialistic. You are a Rakshasa in the world. Neither is it totally closed, because completely spiritual is useless to the world. No use. If that is the case, look at the rishis and the yogis up there in the mountains. They have realized. After realizing, why did they come down and serve humanity? Why? Think. You have to think. If I have realized now, if I'm got my mukti, why did you come down here and create all these movements? Why? Because he's trying to create opportunities for more and more people to get salvation. Why did you do that? Because consciousness tells me that I must be a solution provider. This is the ultimate testimony of spirituality. Spirituality cannot be passive, cannot be moving behind. This is, in Western countries, this is now a big thing. Everybody is into study circles and sitting down, heavy meditation. And this is my message. I go around telling a lot of youth now in everywhere, brother, what do you do? Nothing, brother, meditation. Nothing? Meditation, yeah. What else you do? Nothing. What else you? Nothing. They're just doing sitting down, study circle meditation. If you do too much meditation, brothers, you can go mad. If you do not know how to discharge that energy, that's why those who meditate, you have to walk in the grass and discharge. Then if you do too much meditation and you do not know how to discharge, that is why Bhagavan, who are you to interpret what Baba has said? Baba has given 4 yogas in the 9 point of conduct. He said daily meditation, seva, bhajan, all the 4 integral yogas inside. We are taking one pill and forgot to take the other 3 pills, and now we are wondering why we are so unhappy, But Baba said take the 4. Take the 4 pills collectively. So the whole point of the story is that to make sure we integrate this yoga and follow this very sincerely. The other thing is that all leader centers, EHV teachers, we make this resolution that EHV teachers must do. May 3rd, we are having a program now. May 16, was it? May leadership youth. May 16, 17, 18, we'll have the 150 Youth Leadership Program. We'll incorporate the STP as a very strong module, as one of the strong modules. So the youth will now formulate and have youth satsangs inside the centers itself. That will be done. Come July 16, is Ganesh here? July 16, yes, what's the session? July 18, 19, 20 is our National Sai Convention. Sathya Sai National Convention, July 18, 19. 18, 19, 20th is National Convention. We have invited Nimesh Pandey and his wife. They're one of the most incredible, beautiful speakers, and we have invited them to come. And we are now, this is again, for those of you who don't know, and it might be a surprise to all of you, that we are again having this in PD Glory Beach. But, you know, it's not for any other reason. That's the cheapest place we can get, you know, yeah. So we're going to have this PD Glory Beach, so all of you must come for that particular session. How many of you are planning to come for the National Convention in Bodixon? Yeah. Now, now what I'm going to do is follow the example of what Reddy has said. I think what we are going to do now is we are going to be very strict, because last time, a lot of you come last minute, some of you paid, but we accommodated many of you, and then some people have to go extra bed, extra this, and all these things. I think we have to be very professional about things. So I think as Ganesh is the organizing committee chairman, he will stipulate a date, by which date, if the thing comes in, it comes in. Otherwise, we close the thing, and then you cannot. So last time they came in inside and then beg and please brother. Then they come to me, and then I am a very soft heart, you know. When people come and say I cannot, so that's why I purposely turn away, because I cannot say no to people. Then they'll go behind, all kinds of dramas takes place. You know, after STP, you know the discipline that is required. So please, by this particular stipulated date, give in, put your this one and come. It's very cheap now. They managed to get it at a very cheap rate. All of you should come, because it is every year we only meet once. I think we should come. Next one is on May 3rd. May 3rd on Saturday, we're having a big, now dear friends, you won't believe this. Today, Sathya Sai organization, it's because Baba's grace, Swami's grace, the unity that you all have shown, and all the devotees have come together. Today, at the various places, the way the government sees us and recognizes Sai Baba is so amazing. You won't believe. 4 years ago when this council took over, we released a red book called, the red book was called Red Book. But anyway, and the Red Book had all the visions of all the wings. And STP was one of them in the spiritual transformation program, was inside that wing. I'm very happy to see that this is the culmination of that particular thing that has now happened, and many centers, not many pervasively, but at least it has gone in a very large way. The ladies wing has implemented the ladies program in many places to such an extent that the government has now implemented the Jiran Wanita program under the Lights program with them. So the Malays are sitting now, and they are sitting now and discussing the Light program as study cycle, just like what you said, taking it to the public. The ladies are sitting there and discussing that. The service wing, community adoption program, the government has given 10, and now they've added another 15 more. And the money was to be sent to the Rukun Tetangga people. The ministry is sending the money to Rukun Tetangga, and people, you all will be getting this money. Now they have said, kita tak mahu lagi bayar duit pada Rukun Tetangga. Kerajaan ya, government. Sebab apa tahu, lambat sangat. Tak apalah, Prof. Kita bagi itu duit pada Sathya Sai Baba lah, yorang buat sekaligus. So they're giving the whole money to the Sathya Sai Baba organization, and we are supposed to take it out and give it to them. So because, and we didn't want this, because you know why? To get the money out from the government is easier. To get money out from Reddy is tougher. So you will give me 100 instructions, so it's a bit difficult. So I said, no, not for that. But the purpose was easier for accountability. But they said, we trust you all, we trust your system and the way you are doing the accounting much better. Can you imagine the government is saying like this? So the money has been given to us, and the money is now allocated so that we now do the work. Work with who? Work with guys. Now listen, we got to wake up. The Indians cannot be just being with the Indians, and the Chinese cannot be the Chinese, and the Malays. And I told this to the government, and I told these people, this is a wrong way of doing things. And people listen somehow or other, they listen for some reason. Say, Professor Janangan. Sebab, if you're not going to empathize with the agony of the pain of the Indians, and the Malays and Chinese cannot appreciate that in Kuala Selangor got 550 people, 550 ringgit, they're managing a family. Whatever you do, your problems are only contained within the Indians. It's never going to be solved by any community for the community. Chinese the same way. Malays, you go to Perlis, they got very poor people eating this, ubi kayu and all these things in Perlis. And they're very poor. And you got to sympathize with that. So which means to say, community must cross community and help each other in this community. So you are 1.8 million. Indonesian is 2.2. Indonesian is 2.2 million. Well, Indians are only 1.8. You're the minority. Minor, small. Yet we have the bigger, don't forget about, we are the small, but we got quality, Alcoholism, we are the highest. Wife beating, we are the highest. Cholesterol, we are the highest. Everything, we are the highest. So the point of the story is that this STP tool, if you keep on practicing, you got to feel the agitation, because if you keep on increasing your spirituality and consciousness, and if you cannot hear the whispers and the cries of the people and move it, because that's what Baba did. Swami said in Purnachandra Hall, he said, when he, Sai Kulwan Hall, he mentioned when one lady died, and a lady and daughter died in the house for starvation. You know what he said? He said, what happened to the Bharatiyas? How come they are dying of starvation? Why our Bharatiyas have become so selfish and self-centered? So therefore, as of today, I will now launch Grama Seva. He responded to that immediate situation and launched Grama Seva in responding to situational differences, in response to community lacking. And all these are reasons why spirituality, the moment you're spiritual, you must respond. There's no question. And we must do it collectively. I'm going to ask Sugu, in 3 months' time, all the Seva guys, now we must come together and do. Let's look at it. Some of the Seva that we are doing now, are we doing it just for the sake of doing it? Are we doing it for the sake? In fact, I'll tell you one vision, one vision that I personally have. The quarterly reports that every center has, I think you should have that as one module for your STP. Let the devotees look at your quarterly module and see, because you look at the quality of the reports that is coming out. Let the devotees themselves examine, why we are like this, we should be better. Then that's it. The impact of your spiritual transformation program lies in the quality of the kind of reports that is coming out, the impact of the program, and the number of people that is being benefited. Then only can we clearly say that this is really moving, and we are moving as an organization. That is also another one big vision that we possess, and I'm sure it will happen in a due time. So all these are the vision. All these are the plans the organization has. We are very, very happy. We are recognized. We are regarded so well high up there only because of the unity that you have shown. And every single little thing, you will not believe. Any problem, anything, they call us, Sathya Sai Baba is called. What do you think? What is your opinion? What is your thing? How we to solve? Any racial issues, anything? Hey, this is a problem there. What is your opinion on this? How can we move this? Can we push this? That means to say, can you imagine where they see in Sathya Sai Baba? Lately, when I came in Awani, they interviewed me. The interviewer, before the show started, he said, "You are from Sai Baba, huh?" That Malay man said, "You are from Sai Baba." Yes. Wow, Sai Baba people really do a lot of work. Huh? The Malay man was telling me, just the guy who was interviewing me. I was wondering, how is he knowing this? People are talking about us, and people are recognizing us, which means to say that is why this program is very important. We must reflect what we are doing. People must see what we are experiencing, and we must achieve what all Bhagavan wants us, because ultimately, at the end of the day, when we merge God, we must crash in and say, "Oh Lord, I've come here, you send me, I've come back here with you, to be with you, so that Aham Brahmasmi, Ayam Atma Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma." This must be the ultimate realization of every devotee in Malaysia. Sai Ram. Thank you. Quickly thank, on behalf of council, like to thank Brother Raju and Brother Reddy and the whole team for a splendid, excellent 2 days work. And all the people who organized this, including the MCs, Murli and Nalini, And our two guests from Australia, on behalf of the Satya Sai Baba Council, let us thank you so much for bringing this message to us so timely and doing so well. Wish you all the best. Have a safe journey back. Thank you. Yes, okay. There's a pledge here. So this is a pledge that all of you should read. I don't think you all have the pledge. So you don't know what you're pledging to. So what we do is, let me read this out. Shall we all stand? You're going to flash it, okay. Got it? No, okay. Let me read it out. You just read out with me because it is a pledge for self-transformation. Om Sri Sai Ram.
Om Sri Sai Ram.
Dear Swami,
Dear Swami,
we sincerely pledge to the following.
we sincerely pledge to the following.
To be active participants
To be active participants
of the self-transformation program
of the self-transformation program.
and commit to practice,
Commit to practice,
share and follow
share and follow
all the values and rules
all the values and rules
governing the program.
governing the program.
We pledge
We pledge
to update
to update
the daily self-transformation program diary
the daily self-transformation program diary
and use the diary
and use the diary
to gauge our progress
to gauge our progress
towards self-transformation.
towards self-transformation.
Swami,
Swami,
we seek your love and guidance
we seek your love and guidance
to tune our mind and intellect
tune our mind and intellect
inwards
inwards
and to keep our senses
and to keep our senses
under control,
under control,
to hear clearly
to hear clearly
our inner voice,
our inner voice,
which is none other than
which is none other than
the voice of God.
the voice of God.
Swami,
Swami,
lastly,
lastly,
we are the children of Sai,
we are the children of Sai,
pledged to become better human beings
pledged to become better human beings
and denizens of Mother Earth
and denizens of Mother Earth
and develop the qualities
and develop the qualities
of love,
love,
kindness,
kindness,
compassion,
compassion,
and use the 5 pillars of
and use the 5 pillars of
Satya,
Satya,
Dharma,
Dharma,
Shanti,
Shanti,
Prema,
Prema,
and Ahimsa
Ahimsa
as guiding principles in our daily living.
as guiding principles in our daily living.
Let transformation begin with me.
Let transformation begin with me.
Jai Sai Ram.
Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Thank you.
Thank you.